If you are a subscriber, you may have heard me mention that I am developing an online course for political candidates, those running for office now, those who may be running for office at some future time. The course is a soup to nuts guide on how to get started, how to become a great and magnetic speaker, develop a compelling message, and win an election. Why develop the course? The political establishment has erected barriers to discourage good candidates from running and competing in the marketplace of ideas. This course is designed to make politics easier to understand, make it easier for people to run, and to break down those barriers so that your voice and your ideas can be heard. During the next couple of weeks, I'll be sharing a portion of the course with you. This week's video is about how to prepare for a radio interview and ensure that you get out of the interview what you want. If you're running for public office, proper preparation for radio and television interviews is the difference between advancing your cause and creating a campaign disaster. Radio and television interviews are priceless opportunities to spread your message, excite volunteers, create news, make news, capitalize on the mistakes of an opponent, and solidify the base of voters you need to win an election. There's also risk. Say or do something stupid, and news that you did will spread quickly. In this lesson, we'll discuss ways to minimize the risk and how to use radio and television to advance your cause, starting with radio. The 8 rules that I follow are ones that I use to prepare my clients. Rule 1. Study the style of your host. Listen to interviews they have conducted with other personalities. Does the host have a particular audience with special interest in a particular topic or a set of political beliefs? Do they let their guest talk absent interruption? Do they pepper the guest with questions? Do they allow the guest to control the talk radio interview, or do they try and veer the topic to something only the host wants to discuss? Rule 2. Know how much time you will have. A 5-minute segment will limit the number of opportunities you have to convey your central points. A 20-minute interview will allow time for 3 or 4 stories to illustrate your point. Stories add entertainment value to your interview, make you more interesting, and easier for an audience to remember your point. Rule 3. Decide what points you want to get across during the talk radio interview and drive them home at the outset. Why? If you go into an interview with no idea what you want to say, the host may steer it to a topic that doesn't get you any votes. And I'll illustrate this with a very simple example. I once saw a candidate who'd been booked on a 2-minute radio interview on what turned out to be a very cold day. The host was ill-prepared and began the interview by talking about the weather. The candidate allowed the entire interview to turn into a discussion about the temperature instead of why she was running or what she wanted to accomplish. She should have taken that first question and used it to spin to a topic she wanted to discuss. This is what she should have said. I know it's cold outside, but let me tell you about the things we can do that will warm the hearts of all New Yorkers today. Rule 4. Use the questions you are asked as an opportunity to quickly pivot off a short answer and circle back to your principal talking points, like I just did in the previous example. You should also mention the name of your website every couple of minutes. Why? That is where people can go to learn more about you, more about your platform, the place where they can volunteer and give you money. Mention your website so that it is easy for them to find you. Rule 5. The expectation is that you will be well informed and you had better be able to quickly explain and defend your platform. If you're asked a question you do not know, best to say you don't know than to pretend you do. That is always a better option than taking the risk of going into a topic you are not familiar with. A factual error or mistake will quickly become news and likely tweeted and blogged into the universe. Rule 6. Know the rules of audience participation. Will all of the questions come from the host? Will listeners be allowed to call in and ask questions on the air? Will those who call in be screened by a moderator? If people are allowed to call in, line up a few friends and allies to participate in the program. Rule 7. Know the physical environment. Lots of candidates do radio interviews from a telephone, and when you do, you don't have to worry about the way you're dressed. If you're going to do the show from inside a radio studio, it may be recorded and put on YouTube. Make sure you are dressed appropriately and sitting where the camera can see your face instead of the back of your head. Rule 8. If you're doing the talk radio interview over the phone, try to call in from a hard line so that you have a good connection. If possible, call the station 10 minutes before your interview begins so that you can listen to what is said before you go live. Why? You want to hear your introduction, and you need to know if something was said prior to your interview that you need to address or respond to. These are rules that will serve you well. There is no law that says you must agree to a radio interview with a host that you know will be hostile or one whose mission will be to trip or embarrass you. Regardless of your decision, you will get more out of your interview and you will sound better if you practice before you go on the air. Next week, we'll discuss the secrets of television interviews, how to prepare for them, what to do the day before and the day of the interview to be at the top of your game and to ensure that you get what you want out of the interview. If you'd like a copy of the comprehensive syllabus for this course, write Roadmap Course in the subject line and send it to j@jtownsend.com. I'll send it to you and answer any questions you have. Please be sure to visit jtownsend.com to get your copy of my free book, The 10 Worst Mistakes Candidates Make. I'm Jay Townsend.